Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a Spiderweb watercolor resist, and here is a list of some of the supplies that you'll need to do this. Let's go through them together. Some watercolor paper, which you'll tape around the edges. If you don't have watercolor paper, you can always use card, like the inside of packaging, food packaging. The card is really good for watercolor. You'll be needing an oil pastel or a candle or a wax crayon, some watercolor paint, any type that you have at home, some brushes, different sizes if you have, a black sharpie or texter, some water, and a spray bottle if you have. Let's begin. We're going to first do a practice drawing. If you divide your page into thirds, in the top third towards the middle you're going to make a dot and then draw lines radiating, which means going out from that dot to the edge of the paper. You're then going to draw smiley faces to connect your spider web between those lines. And do this all the way out until you've filled up the whole spiderweb space. The last step is to draw a little piece of web hanging down. Now you're going to redraw this, your practice drawing, onto your watercolor paper with the candle or a crayon. Now you can't really see what you're doing so well because it is white. So when you need to, hold your paper up to the light and just tilt it to check where you're actually drawing. You will be able to see. Don't forget to put your little string in as well, or your little piece of web. Now let's start painting. The first step is I'm spraying and wetting my paper. If you don't have a spray bottle, you can just use a big brush. And I'm wetting my paper thoroughly first. I don't want pools of water sitting on top of my paper. I just want the paper to be wet. We're going to be doing a technique today, wet in wet. So we're going to be using wet paint onto wet paper. I've chosen some colors which are nice dark sky colors, like night colors. Deep blues, purples. And as you can see, I'm dabbing the color in. I'm not painting it on in strokes, I'm just dropping the color or dabbing the color in. And I'm working quite wet. Obviously, if you don't have a watercolor paper, be careful not to put too much water on it. And keep building up your layers of different color, adding darker and darker. Now, watercolors dry lighter than what they appear on the paper, so you can go quite dark. I wouldn't advise using black, but I would do the really dark blues and purples. Let your painting dry. And either with a sharpie or you can use watercolor paint to draw your little spider on the end of his web. Now I'm using watercolor paint, and I do smudge it a little bit at the end. It's up to you. Watercolor paint or a marker work just as well. And don't forget your spider's got 8 legs. You can remove the tape. And our very final step is to add a bit of a highlight on the spider's body with a white gel pen. And perhaps some stars in the sky if you feel you need to. I hope you've enjoyed this video with me. I'd love to see your work. Please share it. You can either hashtag us or send me an email.